wanted to do. Okay, so I'm going to start by doing the stirrups here. So that's one stirrup. I'm going to do a second stirrup for the medial aspect of his leg. Want to make sure those are about the same size, so I'm going to lay this down here. Yep, and they are about the same size, so that's great. And I'm going to take my tape that I've got here, and I'm going to put it along the lateral side of his leg here. I'm going to take this other piece of tape, Stay Hunter, and I'm going to put it on the medial side of his leg. Then I'm going to take my pen, you can see my pen there, and the pen is going to hold that tape in place. So now I want to take some cotton, and I'm going to wrap it around the leg. So I'm going to start with the paw. I want to make sure that I round it out, but I also want to make sure that my third and fourth toe are going to be left out on Hunter here. So we've got some good padding there on the paw. I don't want to put too much more padding on that paw, because if I do, then it's going to become kind of awkward for that dog to move around. So now I'm going to start with my spiral technique. So for my spiral technique, I want to make sure that I'm going over about 1/2 to 2/3 over my row previous, making sure that there's a good amount of padding on there, but not too much. You can see that I've been practicing a lot here, because you can see that I've used this roll and it's not as small as what it was before. Now, one thing you have to pay attention to here is that you're not pulling too hard on this, because if you are pulling too hard, if you remember, it's just cotton and it will thin out and you'll not get enough padding. It's very important to pay attention to that. So remember, I'm approaching the elbow, so I'm going to start my figure 8 technique. I'm going to come above the elbow like so. And I'm going to come back down. And I'll come back over the elbow and underneath my last row. I'll come over the elbow there. And then I'll cover up like so. You can tell I've been practicing because I do have just enough for it. Just like you did in your video there, Ashley. Okay, great, so I've taped that in. Now I'm going to start the secondary layer. So I'm going to make sure that I'm not pulling too tight, because if I'm too tight, it's going to be too thin like this, and it's going to put too much pressure on, and it will cut off some of the circulation. It will affect the healing. But if I go on like this, it's not going to stay on. The dog can easily chew at it, rip it off. When it's walking around, it can easily fall off. So I know that that's very important to mention there. So again, I'm rounding at the paw. I'm rounding at the paw again, still making sure that the third and fourth digits are out. And overlapping again by 1/2 to 2/3. Again, I'm doing my spiral technique here. and I ran out of roll there, but that's not an issue. I can just start again. And the same thing here. And I'm approaching the elbow so I can start my figure 8 technique. Just going over the elbow. And down and around. Coming underneath my top layer, which is most proximal to the animal. I'm just gonna go around once more here. And then I can cut it. And I'm going to tape it, and I'm making sure that I'm taping downwards, not around here, because it's very important for the circulation and for the healing process. All right, so now what I need to do is I need to take my splint. So I'm taking my splint. So this splint is going to be a little bit short for Hunter, but it's the largest one I could order from Veterinary Purchasing, which is our distributing website that we order from. So I'm looking at his leg here, and I want to make sure that it's on the back side, so the caudal aspect of his front leg. And the animal is supposed to be walking on the splint here, not on their paws, because that's going to make it uncomfortable. So I'm making sure that it's well fitted. So this is where it should be sitting on Hunter. So what I'll do to start is I'll have to tape it. So I can take my tape here. I want to make sure to press down a little bit on the leg, but not too tight, because if I press down too tight on it, that'll cut off the circulation again. That's one. So I'm going to say his fracture's right here, so I can't tape over the fracture. I need to tape above or below that. So for him, I'm going to tape above. And I need one more piece of tape just up here. Perfect, so I've got enough tape there for him. It's all taped in. I'm just going to cut off this end bit here. Great. So now I have to do my last layer, which is my vet wrap. So actually, what I should have done is my stirrups here. So I'm going to take one piece of the stirrups off, the bottom layer first, off the pen I mean, and I'm just going to twist it and come up like the start of an X. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side, coming up in the direction of an X.